Management consultants, strategy consultants, they solve million-dollar, billion-dollar problems in just a few weeks because they are not operating with the normal problem-solving models. The three we'll talk about today are hypothesis-driven problem-solving, the Pareto principle, and MISI. This way of working gives you a very clear direction. Now we move to brainstorming solutions now that our problem is clear. The framework here is the morphological analysis. This is specifically built to come up with innovative solutions to a complex problem. It's really easy to use. You just have to break down the problem into its core components. Let's go back to the ice cream example. Say that your boss was really impressed by what you did, bringing up that these are the ways of looking at the problem. Really, it's a revenue problem. And is it price? Is it the volume? You recommend price because typically, right, based on the Harvard Business Review research, it has a 3 to 4 times impact compared to volume. So your boss says, okay, we're going to try price. And turns out that was great. You improved profitability. Now the boss wants to work on the volume piece. And specifically, your boss wants to try to open a new ice cream shop. But we don't know what kind of ice cream shop we really want to open. So you can use this morphological analysis. First, identifying what are the core components of an ice cream shop. For example, you can think about it in terms of place, so where the ice cream shop is located, the atmosphere, and perhaps the function of the ice cream shop. Is it just to sell ice cream? Is it doing something else? And once you have your categories, then you want to just ideate all sorts of possibilities. For example, under place, you can think about maybe it's close to transportation hubs where there are a lot of people going by. It could also be near beaches and pools where people want to eat ice cream. Or it could be closer to school. For atmosphere, it could be fun and funky. Maybe it's retro. Or maybe it's featuring local farmers that your artisanal ice cream uses and try to showcase your connection to the local farming community. Then for the function, maybe it's that family want to gather there, kind of like a McDonald's back in the day style where kids and family go there on the weekends. Maybe it's more of like a TikTok, Instagrammable space where people can take photos and videos. Or maybe you collaborate with local artists at your shop, so you feature their photography or whatever it is that they do. Once you have a list of all the different ideas, now you want to switch them up and try to see if there are interesting combinations from each of the category that you can build. If you want to make your list even better, here are 2 tricks you want to keep in mind. One is you want to make the ideas as specific as possible. Word them in a way that helps people visualize what is happening. Because this way, not only will they understand your idea, but it helps other people come up with more ideas based off of the visual that your idea provides. The other thing, of course, is to switch up the core elements that you've identified. If you feel a bit stuck, if you feel like the ideas are not interesting enough. For example, in the ice cream situation, you can think about maybe you want to test the shop format, right? Maybe is it going to be a pop-up? Is it going to be a physical store? Is it going to be a ice cream truck of some sort, right? You can always switch up the different elements and see if there are better ideas that come through. So after all this, you mix and match, right? It could be a pop-up by the beach that features local farmers and it's for families to gather. Or it could be a retro physical store that's near schools and it has a very Instagrammable space for people to take photos. And then you want to categorize and prioritize the different ideas by using the next framework, which is the payoff matrix. Now, depending on the goals that are important to you, you want to draw a matrix with 2 axes. Say the goal of the ice cream truck is that it has to be practical, but also very creative. So you plot all of these ideas. Let's say that Instagrammable physical store, because of budget, is actually not very practical because it's too much money on the real estate. So you put them there. And then you think, okay, the pop-up near the beach, that's more practical and that's somewhat creative. And by doing this, you can start to see where your ideas fit. And maybe it is that you think, okay, all of these ideas, they're not very creative. Then you can go back to the drawing board knowing what kind of ideas you need to come up with. So for example, now you need more creative ideas. You can go back to the drawing board and start to think about things that are a bit outside of the box. When you have finished prioritizing and you see ideas that you like, then it's time to do some analysis. And this brings us to structuring your business analysis. In general, there are 3 areas that you want to analyze. These are the 3 C's, which are company, competitor, and customers. To understand companies and competitors, this is actually a very well documented space for frameworks. The most common ones are SWOT analysis. This is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. There's the Porter's 5 forces, and these forces are competition in the industry, potential of new entrants into the industry, power of suppliers, power of customers, and the threat of substitute products. Or there's the 4 P's of marketing, which are product, price, place, and promotion. These are pretty self-explanatory. There are endless resources on the internet that explains them, so I won't go into the details here. And with the 3rd C, the customer, again, there are lots of frameworks, but the most useful I found is the customer journey mapping. And specifically, you can think about the 5 stages of awareness. These stages are unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and most aware. So for our artisanal ice cream, the problem we're trying to solve is there lacks something of high quality and something connected to the local community in the ice cream market. And so when someone is unaware, they don't even know that this problem exists. They never thought that they wanted ice cream that is local and is of higher quality. When they are problem aware, then they realize that, oh, actually, I feel like the ice cream I'm eating is not really of the highest quality. I really want something that's better. Now they go out there and they look to fix that problem. The next stage is solution aware. So not only do they have the problem, they know what will actually solve that problem. For example, people might have asked their friends, oh my gosh, you're a foodie. Tell me, where do I get really good ice cream? And they say, oh, there are these like artisanal shops that focus on local ingredients, really high quality. You should try that. And they think, oh, artisanal ice cream, that is my solution. Then you go to product aware of specifically your company's product. And so they say, oh, you know what? I recommend you ABC ice cream. They are artisanal, they are local, they're awesome. Then to the last stage of most aware, this is when people are ready to make a decision. And so your customer thinks, okay, I'm going to check it out. You give them something to try and they say, wow, this blows my mind. This is exactly what I need. And they will decide to buy and then they will continue down that customer journey. So with these 10 frameworks, already you have a head start compared to everyone else who doesn't use framework thinking yet. Let me know in the comments below if any of these frameworks you think are really helpful, has changed the way you think about problems in any way. If you learned anything new, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be sharing more of these and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!